Christie, throughout this process, has been responsive. He's been aggressive in making sure that the state got out in front of this incredible storm.
I cannot thank the president enough for his personal concern and compassion for our state and for the people of our state.
The political old couple, President Obama and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, standing together side by side, surveying the damage from Hurricane Sandy. They've gone from adversaries to praising each other. I'm back now with my special guest, Michael Moore. Before we go any further, Michael, I've got to clarify one thing. We did cover the Rockaway Blaze in the midnight show live on Monday night into Tuesday morning. I was anchoring that. I was towards the end. As soon as we heard about it, we were one of the first networks actually to get it on air.
Right. But there was still 2 or 3 hours after it happened.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, can you imagine if 110 homes were burning right now in Los Angeles?
Sure.
That it'd be another 3 hours before we heard about it.
But I think you've got to take it in the context of everything else that was going on in New York. I mean,
yeah, but everything else. My point is that everything else that was going on was putting a lot of reporters in 3 feet of water and seeing how far they blow.
Right, but
and that is not news.
Yeah, but hang on. I don't agree with that because actually.
But we already covered that in the last.
Well, let me just finish that because it's an interesting debate. But when a 14-foot surge comes over the water in Lower Manhattan,
all you need is one shot of that. Here it comes. Whoa. That's it.
Maybe,
what more do you?
Maybe.
Why do you keep going back to Ali Vash in Atlantic City, hour after hour after hour after hour after hour, with him being blown around by the wind?
Let me just say, I think he was incredibly courageous to do what he did.
Yes,
it was exceptionally testing. He was there for 12 hours, showing you, as we can see now, just how desperate these conditions were.
I think the flooding is a CNN executive off camera with a gun to his head.
Michael, you can be cynical about it, but I will defend Ali to this. I thought it was an amazing piece of reporting. And also, I would defend CNN that has been bringing all the news as fast as we get it. Now, you may say we should have guessed there would be a pylon down in that part of Queens, and we should have guessed and put it on air. That's not how news works.
You're right.
You have to react to what you hear about. And we were one of the first people to report it, and I think that CNN collectively has done an incredible job on this story. You know, there's an argument about whether reporters should be in the line of fire like that, and whether you
I acknowledge the 21st century realities that CNN and all other news organizations have had their budgets slashed and reporters cut, and there's a lot less people in 2012 reporting the news than there were 10 years ago.
Of people in New York. We just couldn't second guess where a pylon would go down. But look, I think we're splitting hairs. Let's move on. Let's move on to the extraordinary relationship that's developed between Chris Christie, who has spent the last year burying verbally President Obama, now side by side with the president in New Jersey. We know why. It's because there's been a devastating side effects from Sandy there, one of the worst probably in the whole of America. But what did you make of this? Do you buy it, or is there a more cynical political reasoning behind what is going on?
Well, personally, I'm not a cynic. So I think Governor Christie and President Obama both looked very sincere and very concerned.
Are you skeptical that there's more political motive behind this? Is it right to even ask that question? Should we just take it completely at face value?
Of course it's okay to ask it, because it was kind of shocking to see Governor Christie over and over and over again on show after show after show heighten his love each time he went on a different show for President Obama.
Because if you're Mitt Romney, let's talk about the politics of this. If you're Mitt Romney, there's your right-hand guy, the guy who was the first to jump out and support you, who's been hammering Obama all year on your behalf, suddenly looking like he's his best friend. Well, this cannot, whichever way you dress this up, divorcing it from the storm, this cannot help Mitt Romney, can it?
No. And the cynic would say, what did Mitt Romney do in the last couple of weeks to piss off Governor Chris Christie? Because he didn't have to go the extra mile, or actually extra 10 miles that he went.
Except he says the president went the extra mile, and that his first responsibility to the people of New Jersey, knowing Chris Christie as I do, I think he's a very straight guy. I've had a lot to do with him. I like him very much. I think he's a straight talker. I think when he says this, he means it. And I think
that's what I think. I think he looked very sincere.
He's looked at his. I interviewed him last night. He's looked at his hometown, absolutely devastated. Places he grew up in, and I think he's thought, you know what, sod the election. This is about this, and the president is going the extra mile for me.
I agree with that, and I saw that press conference that he conducted, and I was really impressed with a couple of things that he said. He pointed out how after Irene a year ago, the hurricane, he put forward a bill in the New Jersey legislature to change like a 100-year-old law that says when the utilities are down, they're fined like $100 a day. So it's just like an ancient law. And he wants that, I forgot what he said, he wants that changed to $10,000 or $1 million a day. So he sent this bill, so there's serious fines that will tell the utilities, upgrade your infrastructure, use your profits to do a better job, or you're going to be really fined if you go down. And I thought, wow, he was saying that there, and I
See, at the moment, I think people have been respectful of the incredibly difficult job the authorities have had and the politicians have had. And I think all the mayors, from Bloomberg to Cory Booker to others, to the governors involved and so on, they've all done a terrific job. However, there will be a tip to people. If they are out of power come next Tuesday, for example, this could impact on the election. Well, maybe people, you could have said today it benefits the president because he's been very presidential and Mitt Romney can't get on television. But you could say by next Tuesday, if there are millions of people still without power, feeling angry, you could get a protest vote, couldn't you?
First of all, I don't think it's just about Mitt Romney not being able to get on television. I think we have a president, and believe me, after the 8 years before this president, one bumbling mistake after another, and that's being kind. To have a president who is intelligent and who is proactive and who doesn't play politics, who I believe was very sincere in everything he said about Governor Christie and everything that he did here today. I think people feel more secure with Barack Obama in the White House. When we have something like this happen, we know he's going to take the reins, get in charge of it, and get something done. And that, I'm not trying to make a statement of how that helps him in the election. I just think it helps us as American citizens to have somebody like that in the White House who isn't going to screw around and who's going to do the job we sent him there to do. That felt really good the last few days.
Whichever side you're on, you cannot say that President Obama has not so far done an excellent job. Let's take a break, come back and talk about this crisis in the hospitals, because I feel pretty angry about this, and I'm surprised more people don't, because for backup generators to fail in two of New York's biggest hospitals, unacceptable.